is here. First thing on the agenda is the public comments. Anyone signed up? No one signed up. If you hadn't signed up, you'd still like to speak, I'd like for you to come forward if you will. If not, we'll move on to a closed session.
Mr. Mayor, we need to go in closed session for the purpose of two matters, but they both fall under consultation with legal counsel requiring legal advice pursuant to 2.2-3711A8 of the Code of Virginia.
Okay, we have a motion.
No, we need a motion.
Don't need.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
okay. Need a call for the roll, Bill? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilman Cutler,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Councilman Bowman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, we need a motion to go back into closed session. Open session, excuse me, open session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we go back into open session, further certify that only those items discussed previously that dealt with.
Identify the motion. Consultation with legal counsel concerning legal advice pursuant to 2.2-3711AA.
We have a motion.
We have a motion. Mr. Riddick does it a little different. I used to, when I did the motions, we also certified and we also did the same motion to return back into open session at the same time. So we just, a
Yeah,
little
we have-
syntax there,
We
but
have a
anyway.
motion, so
Motion-
do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. No discussion, call for the question, please.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Okay,
That's it.
we'll move to public safety. Mr. Bowman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. The first item of public safety is operational update by the Smithfield Police Department. We have today, honored to have Chief Howell. Chief Howell, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Mr. Chairman, in the formal operational updates, I really don't have anything other than the youth summer camp that we recently had. Other than that, which was a huge success. Other than that, you all have our activity report. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Chief Howell? Only to add that I have met with Sergeant McGow and we're moving toward the making plans for the National Night Out in October.
Yes, sir.
It's going well. Any other questions, Chief Howell? Chief Howell, thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. That ends public safety. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bowman. We'll immediately go into finance. Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir. I'd like to open the Finance Committee meeting along with Councilman Harris and Councilwoman Butler. First on our agenda are the June financial statements. I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Laura Ross.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of council, you'll have in front of you a couple of graphs. I have three that are included in your packet. So the first one talks about general fund revenues, and to date is 14 millions, which you'll also see detailed on the financial statements, pages 3 through 5. Of the real property taxes, which is what all the revenue here is detailing, the real estate is the largest at 2.4 million, with meals tax following a close behind at 2.2 million. Next is personal property at 1.2 million. As you know, we billed real estate on May the 8th, which totaled $2.3 million. The overall revenue is just a little bit skewed because of the ARPA being allocated across that, so you won't see that next year. The chart general fund operating expenses compared to budget, which will be the next one, shows an idea of how each department is doing compared to where the budget is. And the very last one that is tilted a little bit will give you the general fund revenue compared to June of last year. Any questions on those?
Any questions from council?
We'll jump into talking about those financial statements briefly. As I mentioned a moment ago, the collected is $14 million. That's 94.87% of the budgeted amount of $11 million. And again, the ARPA funds are in there. The meals taxes equal with 4.2% totals. We combined the two together. We will combine the two together. We separated the meals tax out for a total of 6% on the financial statements. We're going to combine those next year. Let's talk a little bit about collection activities. My deputy treasurer, Barbara, and I have been focused in collecting past due and looking at some of the registered and non-registered businesses in town, and we'll continue to look at all of those. We visited 3 last month: Footnotes Dance Studio, Hair Stop, because all of their stylists had not applied for business license, which they need to do. We also visited the hair cuttery, but they operate as all of their stylists are employees in hair establishments where their employees are 1099. We need business licenses from each one of them. Let's see. We made sure that all of them have come in to pay their business license as well as any other taxes that they owe. We also visited Red Point to get them to apply for a business license, which I think you've all heard just a little bit about. Red Point did come in and pay February through March, and that was $5,419. They were supposed to come in on May the 21st and pay what was due from April, May, and June, but they haven't been in to do that yet. Well, on the personal property side with individuals, we sent out a letter on June the 5th telling everyone that they needed to pay. On that list that we sent to Virginia Auction, it was $255,000, which does not include the 20% collection fee. And we collect this fee for each payment that is made. So far, we've collected $63,000. Of this, $8,900 is owed to Virginia Auction. The next time that any information will be sent to the taxpayers will include a more aggressive letter, which could include booting the cars, which we could do that in any moment now. We'll think about that. I'll send you all a list if you'd like to see that. So let's see. We can talk about expenses briefly. In the financial statements, $10 million or 61% of budget, which includes also the ARPA in there as well. All the footnotes specifics include all the expenses and revenue that comes in like it typically does. Most of the departments are tracking to budget. We'll talk just a second about the debt. That package is in there as well. It talks about our debt as of the end of June, and that is $3,644,593. The payments for the Series 2020A and A-2 and A-1 will be in October, and we'll be making the last payment on the VAC truck in August, which will be $99,349. The prime rate has not changed since December, and we do have one loan that is associated with that, but we don't have anything on that loan. Let's see. You ready to talk about cash balances? We can do that.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Just want to talk briefly about the cash balances to date. You'll see that we have $25,704,000, and that is liquid cash should we need that. The investments, we'll talk briefly about that, and that should be on your benchmark report, which we detailed that based on the end of June. We are in compliance with all of our investment guidelines that we have. And on that second page of that, I list where we are and the percentage of the portfolio that we have. To date, and as of the end of June, we have earned a total of $1,015,581.40 in our investments. We're starting over today from zero because it is July, which will be hard to look at. Okay. So we'll jump on and talk briefly about the ERP process. As you recall, we chose RDA, and we have started those meetings. They have a really good project plan, which is so unusual based on our last product that we use, Munis. But they have it's called Basecamp, and it tracks where the progress is, and you can assign things to all of the folks that are participating. And everyone in my department is participating on that. That's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Ross?
I just have one. Unless I missed it.
Okay.
With the merger of Town Bank Old Point, migration aspect to that, has that gone smoothly or going smoothly, or
Nothing's been done yet.
nothing's been done
We
yet?
haven't heard from them, and
Okay.
I guess we will. We did lose our banker that we had, unfortunately. She's really good. She's
Okay.
their treasury salesperson. She's really good, so I hate that. That'll be a loss.
Okay. you would just keep us posted as far as that, if there's any hiccups or whatever.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Certainly. All right, if nothing else from Ms. Ross, we're going into performance evaluation process. I'm going to turn that over to Ashley Rogers. Ashley, what do you have for us?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and council members. I've been asked to facilitate a performance evaluation process for the 4 positions that report to you all. The process is outlined in the memo. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Rogers?
Timeline looks very workable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the plan looks great, and keep us honest, getting the evaluations done. Thank you.
Good deal.
And we'll see those forms tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
All right, next I have a resolution appropriating the sum of $18,750 from the Department of Criminal Justice Services to the 25-26 General Fund operating budget. Anybody have any questions? Michael?
This is a grant that our police department was able to secure through the Department of Criminal Justice Services. The total amount of the grant was $25,000. $6,250 of that is our local match. And those funds will be used out of the equipment line item of the police department. So we need to appropriate the federal portion, the $18,750, into their equipment line item so that they can use that money for equipment purchase.
All right, we need to move that to the consent agenda.
Yes, sir.
If there's not any questions, I'd like to go ahead and move that along to be
Okay.
considered on the consent agenda at the
All
council
right.
meeting.
We will move that to the consent agenda. All right, now, let's spend some money. We have several invoices over $25,000 needing approval, $20,000. Number one, we have Blair Brothers for the 4 crosswalks here in town, $79,800. Also for Blair Brothers, the work on Sykes Court for $84,450. Next, we have Xylem for the Cypress Creek Pump Station, $51,651. Then Santander Bank for the final payment of our vac truck, $99,349.81. And then lastly, we have Tactical Electronics for the Police Department, $25,089.50. Any questions about those? If not, we'll send those over for approval. Anything else for the Finance Committee? Hearing none, I'll close the Finance Committee, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. We move immediately to Public Works and Welfare. Ms. Butler?
Thank you, Mayor Smith. The Public Buildings and Welfare Committee is made up of myself, Vice Mayor Bill Harris, and Councilman Darren Cutler. Tammy, I really thought this was all you, but I see Michael is sharing a couple of things with you. So the first item on the agenda, Michael.
Yes, ma'am. As you recall, last month we briefly discussed this proposal from Tischler Buys to do a financial impact study for the town. Councilman Cutler had asked that I add this back to the agenda for discussion this evening.
And thank you for sending me the draft Isle of Wight report.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't see if that went to everyone.
Did everyone, I don't recall.
They have not finalized their report. It is still in a draft form, but we can provide that to everybody if you would like to see it, just knowing that some things may change once they finalize the report.
So I just asked Michael to put this back on the agenda so we could discuss it. I know we kind of briefly discussed it for a minute, I think, at the retreat. But I think it would be beneficial to push out that draft report and read that and see what the county got, what the outcome was for the county, potentially before the next council meeting or maybe before September meeting if we need more time. It's pretty lengthy. But so we can, make a decision on that since we made a motion for it and we have the estimate. So we can go ahead and make a decision on that. And I had asked Michael to put it back on because we had those couple of developments coming in. So I feel like if we're going to trust the county's data, then the county's report may be good. But if we're going to question it and say, well, it's not the town, we don't want to use those numbers. You know, they surveyed almost 1,000 people and had a good number of input, a good amount of input into survey bar graphs, as well as a lot of individual comments from citizens throughout the county, including the town. So I would just ask that we review it and see if it's going to be worth our squeeze with what they got out of it for us to do a similar study, or if we feel good about the study that they had and utilizing some of that result instead.
Because basically all we got, the attachment is what this consulting company can actually do. We don't have, okay.
Correct. And the only caveat I would add is on the revenue side, some of those numbers we may be able to extrapolate, but they have cost and programs that they fund that we don't have to. And so the expense side may vary significantly, but I think we could, so just when you look at it, that would be my only concern, is whether we could directly apply their study, that their expense side has a whole bunch of programs that we don't have to fund.
And additionally, I asked Michael to work with the staff to look at both our approved and proposed projects and what their build rates are expected to be, and if they roll over or not, and look at what our kind of worst case scenario, if all the projects, everything that's approved started, what would our growth rate be, with both our approved and our proposed projects. So I think that can help us kind of look at that, because, the county's report really kind of showed the crux between 0.8 and 2% growth of when they would go in the red as far as managing their future tax rates go. So I think that, knowing our worst case growth rate and actual growth rate going into a decision on whether to fund the study would be very helpful.
Well, Michael, since you and staff are going to be doing that portion of it, can you asterisk the expenses that maybe the county has and we don't have?
We can try to go through the county's report and specifically call those out. Now, even the ones that we do have, the dollar amounts are going to be different. But as far as the work that Mr. Cutler has asked us to do, we have looked at the approved housing numbers. So we have that information. And then from there, it would be looking at the financial impact studies that were submitted for each of those and trying to extrapolate some data out of those. So that's what we could do in-house.
I only have one other question. Darren, I'm really curious. What is your feedback on the discussion from the school and what they've decided to do moving forward with their capital improvement projects, or how they plan to label that?
Yes, ma'am. Bear with me for 1 second, and I'll pull up some communications between myself and the chairman of the school board. So Jason Marsh and I had a conversation about the school proffers and what's going on at the county level, and he is working with a member of the Board of Supervisors to get this across the finish line. So kind of the draft timeline that's going down is, so they expect to have the final report of the draft one that Michael sent out on the 31st, and they have already drafted a new regulation as far as the school growth mechanisms. And forgive me, I don't understand all of what the regulation was for, but ultimately the regulation feeds into the proffer scenarios. So they're hoping they're going to update their regulation from that Tischler-Bice report. And then in August, they're going to present everything to the superintendent board and then the Board of Supervisors. And then I requested, if they have available personnel, perhaps in September, once they've got everything finalized and all the stakeholders at the county level have been briefed and everything is up to date there, that they could come and give a brief to the town council. So that, it probably won't be the school board chairman, but someone from the school system hopefully will come and give us a brief on the outcome of all of that proffer work that they're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions or discussion on the proposed growth scenario? If not, Tammy, you are on the agenda for a while. Number 2 is a pre-public hearing discussion, special use permit 107 St. Paul's Avenue.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. The applicant is seeking a special use permit in accordance with Article 3FC18. This would be to utilize a portion of the home as a home occupation for the use as a book author. The applicant has stated there will be no customers, no employees coming to the residence. The positives, it does allow her to continue her profession of authorship. It is not a by right use and does require an SUP. This application was favorably recommended at the June Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
Any discussion? Any questions?
Really briefly, item number 14 is a change to the home occupation codes. So you'll see in that author is removed, and a few other home occupations were removed after review by the Planning Commission to say, hey, this doesn't really make sense for people to be spending $400 on an SUP to write a book, perhaps. If you were maybe a world-famous author, maybe that could be different. But I don't think it came up in the Planning Commission, but now that they're both appearing on the same agenda, Tammy, I mean, is it possible to approve 14 and then you don't need number 1 and we could just give a refund, or number 2?
We've already advertised. The $400 covers the 2 ads for Planning Commission and Town Council.
Okay, thank you.
Are they not the same? No.
They are not the same.
The
They are
same.
advertised 2 weeks before each meeting.
Oh, okay. And I didn't say with number 1, I guess we're tabling that to our, for discussion for September's meeting? Is that what we're doing? Okay. And number 2, we'll move this along to our town council meeting on next week for a public hearing. Number 3 is a
I'd like to go back to number 2 just for a moment.
Okay.
If I may, thank you. Tammy, explain that to me again, the 400. Is there no way that we can reimburse or get that back?
The $400 application fee covers our advertising costs. It's roughly about $200 for it to run for 2 weeks before each meeting, and it has already been advertised.
I saw the same thing Mr. Cutler saw. In 5 minutes, we're going to get rid of that requirement. Seems like there should be some sort of retro fix for the benefit of that citizen, but I guess we can look at that later.
Fortunately, we were able to take it and review our regulations, say, okay, some of these things don't make sense. So.
It just so happened because the advertising rules changed July 1st, because this was from June's Planning Commission meeting. The home occupation changes from July's.
So the special use permit, public hearing for 107 St. Paul's Avenue will be on the agenda for a town council meeting on August 5th, whatever that date is. Number 3, the pre-public hearing discussion, special use permit 139 Sykes Court.
Yes, thank you. The applicant is seeking approval to rent 139 Sykes Court, which is an existing single-family residential dwelling, as a short-term rental property. According to our zoning ordinance, short-term rentals as principal uses are permissible once they've obtained a special use permit. No changes to the property are proposed in order to accommodate this short-term rental. This application provides additional accommodations. It is not a by right use and does require an SUP. Approval should be conditioned on the applicant following the conditions outlined in Article 2Z1A through I, except for item B. They do require a signed and notarized short-term rental affidavit ensuring compliance. Again, this application was favorably recommended by the Planning Commission at the June meeting, with the condition that the applicant reappears within 1 year.
Any discussion or questions?
Yes, I have 2. Yeah. If this one is approved, how many short terms will we have in the historic district?
I believe this is the 4th.
The 4th one.
5th. I gotta
Yeah.
pull up my,
With approval, this would be the 5th?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't have my attachments up, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I count, this would be 5, I think.
Yeah,
The map is on the attachments.
right. That's the one, the yellow stars. Okay.
Yes.
And have we heard any comments from anybody in that neighborhood?
I have not
To
received
date.
any comments.
Thank
No,
you.
sir.
I do have a question, and piggybacking on what Bill said, is Sykes's Court considered the historic district?
Yes, ma'am.
It is. Bill asked the number of short-term rentals that we had. I'm sure, I shouldn't say that, I don't really know, but we probably will get more in the future. Do we have any concerns about the number of short-term rentals that we'd like to see in the historic district and/or Smithfield?
We have not had that discussion.
How do y'all feel about that?
I think you should.
I think we should.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should. I think we should have a regulation and probably look at some other localities that have had positive and negative situations with short-term rentals. And
That's my feeling on that too. I know with, well, the unforeseen situations we just had with the vape shops, you know, it never dawned on me, all of a sudden, I just knew we had 4. I'm thinking, oh my God, why do we have 4? So, you know, and I know that we went in and made amendments, and that may be something that we want to look at and consider, especially with what's happening about town right now. I don't know what that magic number would be.
And some of that concern had to do with, was addressed by the planning commission's recommendation that it be under review, to make sure that it comes back after the first year to make sure that everything's going like it's supposed to. I think we've done that with the others as
We
well.
have.
Yeah.
and then it's every 2 years after that, isn't it?
I think so.
This one in particular was just 1 year in order to review, and then at that point, they would decide when they would review the application again.
Yeah, I've seen short-term rentals become a very hot topic and an issue in a lot of communities, not just historic communities, but vacation resort-type communities as well. And I think my stance on this, one of my very first votes was I voted against a short-term rental on Institute, is the protection of the historic district and the fact that we have character, we have residents there that are accustomed to a way of life, but that also applies to the other neighborhoods that we have around town. And I don't think that what I call a permanent Airbnb is basically where you have a short-term rental that's its primary use. That's all it's used for, which is, in my mind, that's a commercial application. And we're trying to take a commercial application and put it into a residential neighborhood. I have talked to Michael about this a while back, and he is willing to take any kind of direction that we want to give him, and whether that's have them look at similar communities like historic Smithfield, like possibly historic Eatonton. What are they doing? To just try and find out what other folks have done. So the opportunity is there. We just need to give him some direction. And I think that we do need to have that conversation, because it's not just my opinion. I think it's the neighbor's opinion. It's their homes. So good topic, and I would like to have some further discussion. I mean, Bill, you have one coming in behind your house. The reason I will say on record that I voted for that was because Main Street is commercial and residential. So I think that's a little different. This is not. This is in strictly the residential portion of the historic district, which at this point does not have my support, but I would like to see something further done. So I'm looking for your opinions on it. Darren?
Maybe we should have the mayor establish a committee and to create a regulation, and if the staff could gather some from some other localities, some example, and maybe some lessons learned.
Yeah, we can do some digging around some other historic localities and bring back what we find from other places. And we'll specifically look to see if any of them have a cap in place. The regulation itself seems to be working pretty well, but I think the question now is where do we cap it? So we can look and see if we can find anywhere else that's done that.
Great, yeah, that would be a great starting point, I think.
And I believe just across the water over in Hampton, they're having an issue with this where, no, it was Newport
It's
News. Yeah.
Hampton as well.
Yeah, same exact thing, where they had a regulation on there, it really wasn't enforced, and now they're going in to enforce it, and now that's creating another problem. So let's get ahead of it versus having to, nickel and dime this thing every time one comes up. Let's kind of look at it.
Yep.
I agree.
And I hope we start from the very beginning and determine what's the actual purpose for a short-term rental? What's it really there for? Is it going to be a scenario where a house comes up for sale, you buy it, then you immediately apply for short-term rental SUP? I mean, when you've got people that have lived there that are established in the neighborhood, and every 3 or 4 months they've got a different dynamic to deal with, I don't really think that's fair to the neighbors. I really don't. And I mean, there are certain things, certain hardships that come up as far as, through life and things like that may necessitate or for the need to rent a place on a short-term basis. But it shouldn't become a mechanism to have a profit-making deal that disrupts the neighborhood. I hope it makes sense. Just in my mind, you really ought to be protecting, and to y'all's point, if you're on Main Street, that's a little bit different, but you're starting to dig into the areas where people have lived for 25 and 30 years, and you're going to turn their neighborhood upside down every 6 months or every 3 months or whatever. I think there needs to be discussion as to where the break point is from a capitalistic perspective versus a neighborhood perspective. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like you'd be a good member of that committee, Mr. Mayor.
I'm glad you volunteered.
I volunteer, Mr. Butler.
I'll sit on it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'd be right there.
That's good, all right.
Okay, this public hearing will move to town council meeting on August the 5th for public hearing. Public hearing discussion, special use permit, Eastwood Sales Trailer.
Yes, thank you. The applicant is seeking a special use permit in accordance with Article 3 CC 24 for temporary real estate marketing office for new subdivisions. It is a proposed 28 by 8 temporary white vinyl trailer that will be used to meet with potential customers while the model is under construction, and it is expected to be on site for not longer than 4 to 6 months. This does allow the applicant a temporary marketing office. It is not a by right use and does require an SUP. Planning Commission did favorably recommend this application at the June meeting. Thank you.
Any discussion? No discussion? We will move this to a public hearing for next town council meeting on August the 5th. Special use permit, Mallory Point Sales Trailer.
The applicant is seeking a special use permit again for 2 temporary real estate marketing offices for a new subdivision. These are 2 model homes that will share a temporary parking lot. The garages will function as the offices and then will be converted back to garages when no longer needed. The offices will be open from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. and by appointment. Positives, it does provide the applicants with temporary marketing offices for the sale of homes. It is not a by right use and does require an SUP, and this was favorably recommended at the June Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
Any questions or discussion? We'll move this along to the public, to town council for a public hearing on August the 5th. Special use permit 13404 Ben's Church Boulevard.
Yes, thank you. The applicant is seeking a special use permit in accordance with Article 3IC 33 in order to operate a recreational substance establishment selling cigars, cigarettes, e-liquid, e-cigarettes. It would bring a business into an otherwise vacant location. It is not a by right use and does require an SUP. Due to previous illegal activity, this owner/business was shut down. Staff do suggest the removal of window signs, tinting, and allowed to operate Monday through Sunday from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. in accordance with our newly adopted recreational substance establishments. This application was unfavorably recommended at the June Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
Any questions or discussions? This special use permit public hearing will come before Town Council. The next one is conditional rezoning and special use permit, the promontory.
Yes, thank you. The applicant is seeking a conditional rezoning to plan mixed-use development to facilitate the construction of 5 commercial lots, a future commercial area, 120 single-family detached units, and 118 single-family attached units for a maximum of 238 units in total with 27.51 acres of open space. It will be phased, starting with the commercial sites. The road beside Tractor Supply will be extended with a network of public roads connecting to Cypress Run Drive and Turner Drive. In order to facilitate this project, they have the conditional official zoning map amendment, which is the rezoning for attached, detached, fast food restaurant, car wash, restaurant, drive-in bank. These are all permissible in our PMUD Plan Mixed Use Development District. These uses are also in line with the future land use map with the current designations of residential mixed use and corridor mixed use. The first special use permit, Article 3J2C7 for drive-through facilities. The applicant is requesting the flexibility to utilize drive-through facilities on all 5 commercial parcels with the current plan of a drive-in bank and a fast food restaurant with a drive-through window. The second special use permit is for a waiver of yard requirements for reduced setback. That would be for the townhouse and villa to have an 18-foot front yard setback, a 10-foot side yard setback, and a rear setback of 20 feet. The single-family dwellings would have a front setback of 20 feet, a side setback of 10, and a rear setback of 20 feet. The requirements are front yard setback of 35 feet, side yard setback of 15 feet, and a rear yard setback of 35 feet. The Planning Commission did grant the waiver for that buffer. The amenities will include the items depicted on L11 through 15, which includes signage, multi-purpose lawns, grill area, waterfront deck, fishing outposts, plantings, seating, tot lot, open views to the lake, bike racks, pedestrian paths, picnic tables, a fire feature with seating, woods, bench connections to trails, tables, benches, chairs, and a sand beach. They will have a property owners association that will be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of all open space, common areas, and other amenities noted in the conceptual plan. All stormwater management infrastructure, including their wet stormwater management infrastructure, landscape buffer areas as shown in the plan. They are proffering the following road improvements, which also include a conditional payment towards the construction of the roundabout at Turner. Additionally, they are proffering a conditional cash proffer to Isle of Wight County Schools if they are over enrollment capacity at Smithfield Middle School at the time of CO issuance. And finally, no more than 60 zoning permits will be issued in a 12-month period for the residential units. This was favorably recommended to Town Council at the July Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
I see that the developer is here, so if we have any questions or comments that Tammy can't address. Any comments? No? We will move this public hearing to Town Council meeting next Tuesday. Conditional rezoning and special use permits for sheets.
Yes, the applicant is seeking a conditional rezoning to highway retail commercial to facilitate the construction of a convenience store with fueling station islands with 2 additional retail users. These uses are also in line with the future land use map as the current designation is corridor mixed use, which provides for primary commercial uses. It's a 6,139 square foot convenience store, and it will feature a 4,170 square foot fueling station canopy with 6 double-sided self-serve fueling stations. In addition to traditional convenience store offerings, there will be a made-to-order food menu, coffee bar, and smoothies. There will be indoor and outdoor seating. It will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days per week. The site has existing access servicing Sherwin-Williams and will also include a right-in, right-out entrance shared amongst the subdivided parcels. There will be a pedestrian path along Route 10 for connectivity. The first special use permit is for the drive-through facility at the convenience store for made-to-order food items or other items from the store. The second special use permit is for a waiver of parking and loading. This is so that they can exceed the maximum number of parking spaces allowed by 7. That way they would provide up to 44 spaces instead of the maximum of 37 spaces. The third special use permit is for the use of a service station. They would like to utilize one parcel as a 5,500 square foot oil express facility. This application package was favorably recommended to Town Council at the July Planning Commission meeting, provided the applicants determined a way of limiting the third parcel and addressing all of VDOT's comments. Thank you.
I think we also requested all of their signage to come in together in a package so it could all be reviewed together as well. So that,
That would only be reviewed by Planning Commission, not Town Council.
yeah.
Any other comments?
Question. The drive-through for, and Tammy, I think you mentioned for prepared food and other products, won't be any alcohol sales provided through the drive-through, will it? They applied for anything such as that? Because the last thing I want, beginning of town, would be a brew-through type.
I think that's illegal. I think you can, they still have, I don't think you can do that.
You can or cannot
I don't think you can.
in Virginia?
Only alcohol, the only takeout, you know, like a brew through, I don't think,
That's my concern.
That's a drive-in, not a drive-through.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's typically like a Wawa. The drive-through is the
I just
food.
want to make sure that it's not one of those things that slips by.
Well, we'll let check and see, but it's not, that's,
Okay.
yeah. But I don't think, really,
You can still
Back-
go in,
back in
you can still
COVID,
go in, get a drink, and get a drink to leave. I know it's certain restaurants and places like that that are ABC designated.
right.
I just wanted to make sure that things that go through the window are prepared food. But this is a little bit different than a Hardee's or McDonald's. This is a convenience store with a drive-through, and I don't know that we have a
We'll have to
convenience.
check and see if that's, I don't think that's permitted, but we'll see.
Okay, all right.
We know in North Carolina it is, because,
Yeah, not that I've been through one or two before, but I'm just saying that that's just the way, you know, just wondering.
okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Tammy.
This will be a public hearing on the next town council agenda. Special use permit and proper amendments to Grange at 10 Main.
Thank you. The applicant is proposing to construct not more than 119 total units, a reduction of at least 148 units. There will be 33 single-family dwellings, 35 cottage dwellings, 10 estates, and 37 townhomes. They are asking for the flexibility during site plan, provided that the total number of lots will not exceed 119 units. This project also includes the Smithfield Market, which will host a restaurant retail space, 30 stalls, and a 3-story hotel that will not exceed 42 feet. A 6,000 square feet building featuring office/retail space, and overall there will be 270 parking spaces provided. The proposed development can be accessed via the 5 entrances. The first special use permit is for a waiver of yard requirements. This is for relief from the 35-foot front yard setback, 15-foot side yard setback, 35-foot rear yard setback, and 5-foot accessory structure setback. They are proposing a 10-foot front yard setback, a 5-foot side yard setback, and a 10-foot rear yard setback, a 2.5-foot setback for that accessory structure. The second special use permit is for a waiver of maximum building height. This is for the townhomes not to exceed 40 feet. These SUP applications were favorably recommended at the June Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
Any discussion? Another public hearing for town council meeting. Text amendment group homes.
This is a a text amendment to our zoning ordinance in order to incorporate group homes as a by right use. It would no longer be required to have an SUP in the residential zoning districts. This is to bring our zoning ordinance in conformance with state code. Thank you.
Any questions?
Tammy, is that is that a new state law? Do we
No,
have to
it's
come
not.
into some sort of compliance there?
No, it is not new. We're just updating our zoning ordinance to be in compliance.
To be in compliance?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank
But it may not be new, but there are other localities that have been confronted with this exact issue, I believe, very recently that were on the media. So it's not one of those that, although it's state law, it's not one of those ones that I really like a lot, just for what it's worth.
This text amendment for group homes will move along for public hearing at the next town council meeting. Text amendment, side yard setbacks for cluster lots.
Yes, thank you. This is a zoning amendment to increase the side yard required setback for cluster lots from 6 feet. We would increase it to 10 feet.
Any discussion or questions?
So just as the planning commission discussed, we were going through density stuff and different zoning requirements, and Dr. Pope brought this up, that we had this one that had the 6-foot side yard setback that was just too small. So it was just increasing that 4 feet.
We'll move it to a public hearing for next town council meeting. Number 12, text amendment, multifamily residential.
This is a text amendment to the multifamily Article 3F of the zoning ordinance. This is removing the regulations that address attached townhouse and duplex units, as they are actually subject to the AR regulations, and therefore they would follow those regulations. These are just duplicated in the MFR section. This is again just to provide clarity in our zoning ordinance, since we're directing those to AR.
You said townhouses?
It's for the attached townhouse and
Townhouse.
duplex units. If you read in the MFR section, those are permitted, but they're subject to AR regulations. So then you double back over to the AR section and follow those guidelines. We're just deleting them. They're repeated in the MFR. We're just deleting them from the MFR.
Okay. This will move forward to a public hearing at the next town council meeting. Text amendment requirements and definitions of duplex.
This text amendment allows one duplex with 2 units per single parcel of land, and/or one duplex per subdivided lots, meaning one unit would have to be on its each individual lot. And we're also just clarifying the definition of a duplex dwelling.
So this regulation we went through, and so we made, basically you can think about, a rectangle, and you can either have a two duplex unit on a single rectangle, or you can split it and have 2 parcels of land split along the shared wall or thereabouts on the duplex. Then it gives the 2 ownership options, but it doesn't shrink the yard size of the duplex. So, if you read into the attachments, you'll see those in there. And as far as I can tell, I couldn't see, I couldn't determine any, I tried to think of any type of negative outcome that could come from this change, and I couldn't think of one, due to the lot sizes staying the same. So you're limited. Each of our zoning regulations, and Tammy, please chime in if appropriate, have density maximums based on the number of dwellings, not based on the number of lots. So I couldn't figure out any really downside to this. I think what was the origin of this, Tammy?
Just in order to provide clarification, again, that keeps the minimum lot areas at the 4,000 for interior, 5,000 for corner lots, and then if you're putting one structure on one lot, it would be 8,000 for interior and 10,000 for corner lots.
I do have a question. You said it didn't affect ownership. If it's one parcel and it's a duplex, half on one side and half on the other side, and two different people purchased the duplexes, how does that work?
So, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tammy.
Well,
They couldn't, if it's a duplex on one lot, it can only be owned by one person. If it's a
Okay.
duplex located on two lots, then one person
That
can
makes
own one
sense.
and one can own the other. That's the flexibility, but the yard requirements stay the same. And that's, the planning commission spent a lot of time on that.
Okay. This will move to town council for a public hearing as well. Number 14, the text amendment for home occupation.
Yes, this is just removing author, composer, computer programmer, salesperson, and telephone answering service as home occupation uses. That would require an SUP.
I got that. This will move to town council meeting as well for a public hearing. Minimum width of sidewalk.
Yes, this is just a update to Town Code, Section 26-294. This would be reducing the minimum width of the sidewalk from the edge of the curb to the edge of any improvement from 7 feet to 4 feet.
Is that what's happened? Is that what's happening with the sidewalks now that are being installed? They're 4 feet?
So this is to ensure that our downtown businesses are in compliance with our town code. A majority of them have approximately 4 feet of sidewalk width before you hit their tables.
And a good example is if you go by the Fiddlin' Pig, they have all their picnic tables and
Planters.
everything completely on their property. However, it's still within 7 feet of the edge of the curb. So technically, they're in violation, but they're not impeding the sidewalk in any way.
Oh, okay.
And so this is to help get us to a place where, we're allowing those downtown businesses to have that outdoor seating as long as it's not impeding the sidewalks.
Is that why, I don't know
Yes.
exactly, okay,
But 4 foot is generally the minimum for ADA,
okay.
and so that's where 4 foot came from.
This will move to town council, next town council meeting for a public hearing. Update on blighted property, 1502 Magruder Road. Michael.
Just want to let everybody know we have received communication from the attorney for the property owners, and we're working through that now. We also are still moving forward with receiving bids for demo of the structure in case that plan is not deemed by council to be acceptable. So that would be on council's agenda at the August committee meeting to review that plan and determine whether or not you find it to be acceptable.
Okay, we'll move,
August committee or August?
August council meeting. Yes, sir.
we'll move this item along to the next town council meeting for an update.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And the last thing on the agenda is to appoint a nominating committee to fill the unexpired term of Bill Davidson on the Planning Commission.
Ms. Butler, I would like to nominate you and Mr. Brooks.
Me and,
Mr. Brooks?
okay. Accepted.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that needs to come up under discussion on public buildings and welfare?
Yes, ma'am. I do have one update. I just wanted to let you know that Judy Winslow, our tourism director, has been working with the Bank of Southside Virginia to try to secure their facility for an additional year for the farmers market, and she has been successful in doing so. She's been working with Ms. Lauren Harper at the bank, who's been very gracious and have allowed us to extend that lease one more year. So we will have a home for the market there for another year.
Farmers Market's been closed the last 3 weeks because of the heat.
Yes, ma'am. We will work on the air conditioning.
I do have one other question, Bill. When the update for Tap House come back before us for discussion?
We just received the cost analysis on the right-of-way portion, so we're reviewing that now.
Okay.
I hope to have something by committees to be able to act upon.
Okay. If there's nothing else to come up under my committee, I will adjourn it.
And just to make one comment, back to the nominating committee to replace Mr. Davidson. If council and Mr. Mayor would be so kind to, we could move something along as far as accommodation is concerned for the service that he's provided to the planning commission through many years. I think that would be certainly appropriate, if you would, sir.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing none. No other comments? If not, meeting adjourned.